All verbs in Japanese can be divided into or placed into one of three groups. In order to determine the group that a verb belongs to, you have to first remove the must from the end of the verb. Once you have removed the must, you want to look just before where the must was. So for example, we can take a must off here. And then you want to look at what is left from removing the must. If you have an E sound, it is a group 1 verb, but we're going to just put a little asterisk there. We'll come back to explain that in a minute. So if you see me or she or ni or ki or gi, you're pretty much thinking it's going to go into group 1. The second way it goes into group 1 is if you remove the must and you see a she. When you see a she, you have to look at what's before the she. In other words, you have to count. And if you can either count 1 or 2 hiraganas or just 1 hiragana, this is a group 1 verb. For group 2, there are 3 ways that you get into group 2. It might make sense that if an E sound gets you into group 1, then having no E sound gets you into group 2. And typically students notice that it is some kind of sound that is there. The other way you get into group 1 draws from that little asterisk there and says, if you take off the must and you see an E sound, but it's the only E sound that you see, in other words, there's just 1 hiragana left, that is therefore a group 2 verb. So it's a solo E sound or a single E sound that is left. There's one other way that you get into group 2, and again, it has to do with seeing an E sound. And that is if you are one of 3 specific verbs. Abimasu, to shower. Okimasu, to get up. Or dekimasu, can do. So if you take off the must and if you see an E sound, but in front you see either abi, oki, or deki, this is also a group 2 verb. The final group is group 3, and group 3 is what it is because it can be a bit odd and unpredictable. Fortunately, there's really only 3 verbs in there, or 3 types of verbs. The first one in there is just the word shimasu. So if you take off the must and you only see a she and nothing before it, that's group 3. The other verb that goes automatically into group 3 is kimasu, come. It has to be only kimasu. So you'd look at it and say, this verb means to come, it's automatically group 3. And the third way you get into group 3 kind of comes from how you got into group 1, which says if you take off the must and you see a she and you start to count and you see at least 3 hiraganas before the she, that means it's a group 3 verb.